Solo Yolo Bolo dope people of YouTube. So I want to talk to you guys about some tinfoil hat shit on, right? So it's like 7:50 now. I'm coming home from between some shit. I'm pretty fucked up. I'm lit. It is what it is. I know I shouldn't be driving, but I'm driving. Thank God for Uber, right? And I want to talk to you guys about money. I want to talk to you guys about money. So the United States dollar, right? We have dollars and we have cents. Most countries don't have two forms of currency. We have dollars and we have cents. Most countries have just like rubles, whether it's paper or coin. Now, in modern times, we have things like cryptocurrency, right? We also have ancient shit like gold, silver, platinum, special metals that hold their value better than everything else. Like if you had a silver dollar today, right? Like a silver Morgan dollar. Today, a silver Morgan dollar will get you about the same amount of gas as in terms of its metal value, right? Will get you the same amount of gas as a silver Morgan dollar would get you in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s. So these certain metals that are pretty rare in terms of us digging it out of the ground, they've stayed pretty consistent. But the inflation of money in terms of buying power, right? People talk about inflation. But inflation isn't just inflation of money. It's about buying power. What's the cost of living? What's the cost of purchasing things? What's the cost of whoop-de-whoop, right? You lose about 10% of the value of your dollar every fucking year after year. I've actually seen the official federal documents, and it's somewhere between 7 to 11% every fucking year since 1933, which was the inception of the Federal Reserve Bank. Most people don't know that you don't use United States dollars. You use Federal Reserve notes. You don't believe me? Whip out any 1, 5, 10, 20, $100 bill out of your wallet. Look at the top of it, and it's going to say Federal Reserve Note. Why does it say Federal Reserve Note? Because it's printed by the Federal Reserve, and we borrow it on percentage, and we have to pay it back with percentage. And then we have to borrow money to pay the percentage. Now, Lincoln was the first president who decided, you know what, the Constitution allows us to print our own money, so we're gonna print something called the greenbacks, and that's why money is green today. He started printing greenbacks, and it was the first time in history that the United States actually got out of debt and started to improve. But what happened? Lincoln got shot in the fucking head, and money went back to Federal Reserve notes, and we went back into fucking debt. Is that a coincidence? They started printing money green, just like the greenbacks. They were called greenbacks because the back of the money was green. So they started printing money green just to confuse people, because people are idiots, right? They get confused. So we had multiple forms of currency during that time. Now, in modern times, like, they're trying to switch us onto a digital currency so they could track everything and anything you do and tax you based on it. Now, why is all this stuff important, man? Because money goes back all the way to the beginning of the pyramids. Most people have no idea why the pyramids were built in Egypt. You know, most people think of how, who, what, where, but no one thinks of why. So the reason why pyramids were built were because If you get entire societies on a building construction, right? And you pay all these people working on pyramids that take decades and decades to build. You pay them every year, you tax them. Now, those people that you pay building the pyramids, they pay other people, the people growing fruits, vegetables, and meat. They pay people for clothes, they pay people for tools, they pay people for housing, they pay, money gets trickled down, like trickle down economics, right? And then you tax everybody, and then you repay them the next year, and then you tax it. It's like the wave of the ocean. It's like the current. It's ebb and flow. That's where that concept of ebb and flow of money comes from. Because you give and you take. You give and you take, right? Now, in terms of today's society, there's a big fucking question in terms of our, what's the word for it, man? Ingenuity and whatnot, right? So let's say you take Coca-Cola, for example. Why is it that over the years, Coca-Cola has replaced people with machines that can make 100 times more Coca-Cola, 100 times faster, 100 times better quality, 100 times everything than just people. But fucking yet, the price of Coke keeps rising. How is this possible? And you take all industry in the United States, right? All these people working, like right now, it's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. All these people are going to work. How is it that for the last 2,000 years, everybody has worked, but we haven't built a surplus? We haven't built a surplus of wealth, even though all the mathematics, all the micro and macroeconomics states that eventually we should have reached a pinnacle where we built more wealth than we were working for, right? Like fruits of the labor. So why is it that we're not reaping the benefits of the fruits of the labor? Dude, I'm fucked up. What the fuck are you doing, bro? So the question is, what's happening to all this surplus? Where is it going? Is it going to black projects in the United States, for example? Is it going to $7 trillion bank bailouts? Is it going to $2-3 trillion of, let's send $1,000 per person in the United States, 300 million people, $1,000? What is that? That's, fuck, I'm a little fucked up. 300, 1,000 each. That's what, $300 million? $3 billion? Something like that. I'm a little fucked up, don't mind my math. But my point is, like, where is this money disappearing to? Because even that money that they gave us, right, it's all taxed, it's all being spent, and it's all being taxed. And most people don't realize how things are taxed. Like, you take this Lexus to the left side, right? So some company had to mine all these metals out the dirt, and then they sell all that mined dirt to another company, and they get taxed. That company refines all that material and refines it where a lot of the metals are in higher grade in that slurry, right? So you have more aluminum, more copper, more iron, more everything, and then they separate that out, and then they sell it to someone else. that specifies in, let's say, aluminum, and then they take that and they make it into high grade aluminum, and they sell it to someone else as raw aluminum, and every step gets taxed, right? One step gets taxed, the next one gets taxed, and then the next one gets taxed. And then that group that takes that raw aluminum, then they sell it to, let's say, GM, Ford, Lexus, whatever, and then that gets put into vehicles, and that gets taxed when it goes to, let's say, a dealership. Then the dealership sells it to you, which you pay a premium, and then you pay a tax on that. And then it just continues to get taxed. I don't care what item you talk about. It's taxation from beginning to end. From the moment we take it out the ground in the rawest, dirtiest form to the last form it gets to. It gets taxed like 12 fucking times by the time it comes to a lighter in your hand. You know, that $1 Bic lighter or that $1.50 Bic lighter, it got taxed $1 by the time it became $1.10, right? And that's the way the world works. It just is what it is. There's so many forms of tax. But the weird question is, what happens to all that surplus? We should have had surplus years ago. We should have been reaping the fruits of our labor years ago. Why aren't we? Why are we going into a deficit? Why are we going into this never-ending, just constantly working, right? Like the pyramids. Like, the reason why we built the pyramids were because if you could get entire societies working on decades-long projects, well, you just gave your people decades of work and livelihood, right? It would be the same as the United States deciding to redo all of its infrastructure, all its bridges, railways, everything, right? If we decided to redo all our infrastructure, the United States economy would boost 50 times where it is compared to where it is now, right? Like, we'd be set for another 50 fucking years just by redoing infrastructure. That's like an actual trump card they're holding in their back pocket, waiting for, you know what, when things get bad enough, that's what we'll do. We'll just redo all the freeways, the streets, the infrastructure, the bridges, the dams, the fucking everything. Most people don't think about these things. I'd love to hear your opinion on all this, man. I genuinely want to hear your opinion on all this. I'm a little fucked up. It is what it is. 8 o'clock in the morning, come from between some shit. I haven't slept that night, but it's all good because my mind is still sharp. As fucked up as I am, as lit as I am, it's still solo yolo bolo. I want to hear your opinion. What do you fucking think about the crazy shit I'm saying? Tinfoil hat on, I don't give a fuck. Hear me or don't hear me. You get me or you don't get me. You're with me or go fuck yourself. Solo yolo bolo, peace. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Peace.